10 provinces, including Beijing, have issued a red warning for Super Typhoon Doksuri. Monkeypox swept through China in June, with 106 confirmed cases. After declining for 14 months in a row, Hong Kong's exports fell even further in June. In comparison to pre-epidemic levels, Chinese overseas flights have declined by nearly 5 million seats. Why do Chinese people always express gratitude to the Chinese Communist Party, the government, and the leadership? It's all covered in today's China Truths. 10 provinces, including Beijing, have issued a red warning for Super Typhoon Doksuri. The Super Typhoon Doksuri is poised to make landfall in China, prompting the issuance of the country's first red warning for a typhoon this year by the Central Meteorological Observatory on July 26. As a result, heightened vigilance is evident in regions such as Beijing, Tianjin, and 10 other provinces, where numerous precautionary measures have been taken, including the suspension of educational, work, and industrial activities. Notably, a state of preparedness akin to a wartime situation has been declared, reflecting the severity of the impending typhoon. In response to this imminent threat, a significant coordination effort has been orchestrated to deliberate on strategies for analyzing and forecasting the trajectory of this year's number 5 typhoon. Based on consultations and assessments, it is anticipated that Doksuri will traverse the northeast of the South China Sea from the night of July 26 until the morning of July 27, subsequently approaching the coasts of Fujian and Guangdong. Landfall is projected to occur on the morning of July 28, spanning from Fuqing, Fujian, to Huilai, Guangdong. The Typhoon Doksuri is expected to penetrate deep into inland areas and proceed northward, potentially impacting a multitude of provinces and cities, including Fujian, Guangdong, Zhejiang, Jiangxi, Anhui, Shandong, Hunan, Hebei, Tianjin, Beijing, among others. According to China mainland media, Doksuri, which translates to cinereous vulture in Korean, has the potential to be one of the most powerful typhoons of the century, second only to the 2016 Mariantai typhoon. Monkeypox swept through China in June, with 106 confirmed cases. On July 14, the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention released the results of its June monitoring of the monkeypox epidemic in China. The data indicated 106 newly confirmed cases of monkeypox between June 2 and June 30. Among these cases, Guangdong Province reported the highest number with 48 cases, followed by Beijing with 45 cases. The remaining cases were distributed across provinces, which are Jiangsu, 8 cases, Hubei, 2 cases, Shandong, 2 cases, and Zhejiang, 1 case. It is noteworthy that there were no severe cases or fatalities reported during this period. However, doubts have been raised about the credibility of the officially disclosed data on monkeypox cases in China, as it is widely believed that the number of reported cases has been significantly underestimated. The limited figures, particularly 2 cases in Hubei province and 2 cases in Shandong province, have prompted serious questions regarding the authenticity and accuracy of the official statistics. On July 24, another case was confirmed in Xining, Qinghai province. This case was identified in an individual found on the subway, raising concerns about potential transmission on public transportation. According to a statement released by the official Weibo account of China News Weekly on July 26, this case in Xining was linked to an imported monkeypox case from outside the province, discovered during the contact tracing of individuals who had been near infected individuals in other provinces. Presently, the patient is undergoing centralized isolation treatment in a designated hospital, and their condition is reported to be stable. To prevent further transmission, close contacts of the patient have been placed under observation after being isolated. However, on July 17, a netizen with the username Mau shared pictures and expressed confusion about 2 suspected monkeypox cases discovered on the Chengdu subway, questioning the circumstances under which these individuals were allowed to board the subway and voicing concerns about potential public health implications. As the monkeypox outbreak in mainland China is showing ongoing expansion, urgent measures were advised, mandating monkeypox virus nucleic acid testing for individuals who had close contact with infected cases. In a report by Radio Free Asia on June 21, concerns were raised about citizens in Wuhan, Hubei, refraining from providing detailed information on cases of monkeypox infection due to fears of potential arrest. A resident of Wuhan named Mr. Chen disclosed that the city had experienced numerous instances of monkeypox, citing the example of 6 students from a school near his home being infected. He expressed reluctance to provide precise figures due to the absence of official data, leaving such cases in a state of suspicion and rumor. Mr. Chen further pointed out that revealing information about monkeypox, being an infectious disease, could lead to legal repercussions, including the possibility of imprisonment. Regarding the transmission of the monkeypox virus, Chinese officials assert that the majority of cases are transmitted through male-to-male contact, while the risk of transmission through other contact methods remains low. Non-sexual close contacts have predominantly not resulted in transmission. However, many netizens hold the belief that vaccines may be the cause of monkeypox. These individuals posit that monkeypox is not a genuine disease but rather a consequence of weakened immunity caused by vaccination. They claim that vaccines result in an obvious immune deficiency and allege that the Chinese Communist Party may be using monkeypox as a cover-up for side effects related to the COVID-19 vaccine. After declining for 14 months in a row, Hong Kong's exports fell even further in June. Impacted by the deceleration in economic growth and subdued market demand, Hong Kong's foreign trade experienced a sustained contraction. According to recent data from the Statistics Department of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Government, the overall volume of exports and imports declined by 11.4% and 12.3%, respectively, in June of the present year. Remarkably, this marked the 14th consecutive month of export volume decline, constituting the most protracted downturn in the city's trade history. Specifically, Hong Kong's merchandise exports in June reached 337.4 billion Hong Kong dollars, about $43.255 billion, leading to a trade deficit of 56.5 billion Hong Kong dollars, about $7.243 billion, representing the largest deficit within a year. Throughout the initial 6 months of the current year, Hong Kong encountered a considerable reduction in overall merchandise exports by 15.5% in comparison to the equivalent period the previous year. Concurrently, merchandise imports fell by 13.2%, resulting in a visible trade deficit amounting to 231.6 billion Hong Kong dollars, about $29.691 billion. Hong Kong's exports to mainland China, the US, and the EU experienced a downturn, while exports to other significant Asian markets continued to decline to varying degrees. Looking forward, given the impact of decelerating global economic growth, Hong Kong's export performance is anticipated to remain significantly pressured in the near term. Notably, the shifting of production bases by major international companies away from mainland China has naturally weakened Hong Kong's role as an export port. This development can be traced back to the initiation of the Sino-US trade war in 2018, which prompted the dismantling of the formerly globalized and integrated supply chain of the China era. Over the past 3 years, the Chinese Communist Party has implemented stringent zero-COVID policies to control epidemics, leading investors to re-evaluate geopolitical risks. Several factors, including the CCP's recent suppression and censorship of foreign companies and the opacity of its policies, have compelled companies to reassess their reliance on China. Consequently, industry giants such as Apple and TSMC are actively diversifying their supply chains and gradually relocating them from China. In comparison to pre-epidemic levels, Chinese overseas flights have declined by nearly 5 million seats. Following the sudden relaxation of epidemic control measures by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, towards the end of 2022, there was a widely held expectation within the global tourism industry that a substantial number of Chinese citizens would eagerly embark on international travel. However, the recent State of Travel 2023 report by Skift Research highlighted that the capacity for international flights remains below half of the pre-epidemic levels, resulting in a significant loss of nearly 5 million flight seats. The experts attribute this phenomenon to several factors, including the reduction of international flight options, a decline in Chinese disposable income, and the deterioration of diplomatic relations between the CCP and Western countries. Citing the insights of Wolfgang Georg Arlt, the CEO of the China Outbound Tourism Research Institute, CNBC reported on July 25 that the lack of affordable flights and prolonged visa processing times for overseas travel have collectively contributed to diminishing the desire among Chinese individuals to venture abroad. According to Reuters, the number of Chinese tourists visiting Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, and the Philippines in May of this year plummeted by at least 60% in comparison to the same period in 2019. As the post-epidemic economy grapples with recovery, Chinese tourists have adopted a more cautious approach to spending due to the prevailing economic slowdown. As stated by Arlt, this newfound prudence can be attributed to their financial constraints. Skift's report reveals that among various expenditure categories, travel ranked as the third largest area in which Chinese respondents expressed their intention to increase spending this year, followed by dining out and healthcare. Nevertheless, merely 8% of the surveyed individuals indicated plans to augment their tourism expenses. Additionally, the prevailing high unemployment rate among young Chinese individuals has presented a significant impediment to their ability to engage in travel. According to a July survey conducted by Morning Consult, Chinese individuals' travel aspirations, particularly to the United States, have experienced a decline. Geopolitical tensions between China and Western nations have also played a detrimental role in the slump observed in Chinese tourism. The conflict in Ukraine has further exacerbated international travel complexities as North American airlines are unable to traverse Russian airspace, consequently leading to longer and more costly flights between the US and China. Despite these obstacles, Chinese interest in international travel continues to grow, with the number of Chinese tourists expressing a desire to go abroad nearly doubling since the previous year, according to Morning Consult, from 28% to 52%. This sentiment aligns with Skift's report, which indicates that 50% of Chinese tourists are planning overseas travel within the next 12 months. Why do Chinese people always express gratitude to the Chinese Communist Party, the government, and the leadership? A thought-provoking essay by Chinese journalist Xiang Youpu, recently published in Vision Times, raises an interesting question: why do the institutions of the Chinese Communist Party always emphasize the slogan "Serve the people," but whenever they express gratitude or apologize, it is directed towards the Chinese government? Gratitude is a noble ethical value, but why does this particular way of giving thanks require some contemplation? Because it is of great significance, this is not just an individual's thinking but a belief that has been ingrained in Chinese society. However, according to reports, she was later reprimanded by the authorities for attributing her success to personal effort and her family. She was reminded that she initially received education at a public sports school and was later selected for the national team. The country provided her with training facilities, the best coaches, and financial support. Therefore, her gratitude should be directed towards the Chinese government, the leaders, and the coaches. The author of the article answered this question with a personal anecdote. During his doctoral studies in Japan, he and two other Chinese students, Liu and Wang, were also studying abroad. Liu stayed in Japan, became a professor, and obtained Japanese citizenship, while the author and Wang immigrated to the United States. In 2006, Liu and his son visited the US and met their old friends. Looking back on their lives, Liu said that in the past, they belonged to the underprivileged class, intelligent and hardworking but lacking opportunities. It was only through the reforms and the restoration of the college entrance examination initiated by the Chinese Communist Party that he had the opportunity to go to university and open up new possibilities in life. He sincerely expressed his gratitude to the government. Upon hearing this, Wang asked again, "So, Lu's son is now accepted into Tohoku University in Japan and graduating with excellent performance. Shouldn't Lu also be grateful to the Japanese government?" Both fathers and sons replied, "Why say that? We don't need to thank them." The young man said, "I am grateful to my parents." Wang continued to inquire, "Both Lu and his son have attended university, and both feel grateful. So why is there a difference in their sense of gratitude?" He explained that, for example, Lu's son is now a Japanese citizen, working hard and creating value, paying taxes as a law-abiding citizen. The Japanese government uses that tax money to pay civil servants' salaries and invest in various programs. Therefore, citizens have the right to enjoy their rightful benefits, such as education and business opportunities, and have a say in matters. The same applies to China. Lu has received good things from the money that he and his fellow citizens paid in taxes. It's a natural cycle, so why should Lu see it as a favor from the Chinese Communist Party? In the past, during Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution, universities across the country were closed for 12 years, which led to many Chinese people lacking education and remaining in poverty. Now, it is only natural that the restoration of education should be considered as a rightful compensation for Chinese citizens. However, due to the long history of oppression, some Chinese people mistakenly believe it is a grace granted by the Chinese Communist Party. Education is a fundamental human right that the Chinese people should enjoy. The difference between Lu and his son lies in their different understanding of human rights. One person believes that these rights are something they should naturally have, while the other sees them as favors granted by others. Lu was shocked to hear this. He recalled that it was the first time in his life that he heard someone say that Chinese people should also enjoy human rights. Lu hesitantly admitted that he had never thought about his own human rights before. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.